Stormy Daniels freaked out if Donald Trump is acquitted in New York. Her husband/cameraman say that they've got a contingency plan. Apparently, they're going to be fleeing the country soon if Trump is acquitted. We'll see if that happens or not. But we've got some roundup updates on this woman and the saga. Not only was her husband/cameraman, who looks like that, out talking about how he's used to Stormy getting just absolutely ravaged in the comment section, getting pounded in the comments, getting railed in the comments, and doesn't really care all about it. But if Trump is acquitted, then maybe they'll have to leave the country. Now, her attorney was out saying that she's paralyzed with fear, and they talked about her necklace that came from her daughter. It's wild. Michael Cohen, apparently, according to Michael Avenatti, created his own WomenForCohen account and may have posted 700 tweets faking like he's a woman for Cohen. So that's interesting. Karine is out here admitting that she can't comment on these trials because they're political in nature. And Congressman Byron Donald says that they were there supporting Trump because the Constitution requires no political prosecution. So let's hear from this guy first. Stormy Daniels' husband/cameraman, or whatever their relationship is, they brought him on to have an interview. And here is what he said when asked about the aftermath of Stormy's testimony. Of course, she was in court for 2 days, had a lot to say, and now there's the fallout. What does the husband say? What does the lawyer say? Here is their escape plan should Trump escape.
Testified. Have you discussed what happens when you talk about her trying to get on with her life if Trump is found not guilty?
If Trump is found not guilty, I think there's either way, I don't think it gets better for her. I think if it's not guilty, we got to decide what to do. Good chance we'll probably vacate this country.
Bye.
If he is found guilty, that she's still gonna have to deal with all the hate that feel like she's the reason that he's guilty from all of his followers. So I don't see it as a win situation either way. I know that we would like to get on with our lives. I know that she wants to move past this. We just want to do what I guess you would say normal people get to do in some aspects.
Like what? What do you guys do that's normal?
But I don't know if that
STD
ever
tests?
will be, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, some of the things that she has to go through that people don't realize, I guess, for example, everybody has their agenda for her at this point, and I don't see people fighting back for her. For instance, E. Jean Carroll, although we're super happy that everything
she got
that happened
93 million, but where's my money?
Happened, Stormy opened the door, but Stormy got sued for the exact same 2 comments, and she ended up getting legal fees she's got to pay for, but no one wants to help her with that. Or the women's groups, she fights for women's groups all day long, and I don't see anyone doing GoFundMe's to try to help with her legal fees and to help her out.
So she just needs some money.
And Mike Avenatti, he did a GoFundMe to try to help her, and then he ended up stealing all her money. There's a list that goes on and on and on and on. And the hurricane relief in Louisiana, she does all these great things.
She's such a good person, and no one's helping out her in her plight. And so they might have to leave the country if this abuse continues. So they brought this dude on, and they talked to him for a full 10 minutes. Wow. And so, of course, we'll stop right there. But the lawyer also was on the media. And so this guy's name is Clark Brewster, and he is explaining how Stormy, before testimony, was paralyzed with fear. And she wore a bulletproof vest into court before she testified.
In the direct and the cross, Stormy's demeanor on the stand was different from, an outsider's perspective. How did she go from kind of that first day of testimony, first day and a half, to when she knew she was going to get grilled by the defense? I mean, how did she take that? Did you tell her anything to kind of get her ready for that moment?
Sure. Yeah, we spent, as you remember, we had Tuesday, then there was a dark day Wednesday, we came back on Thursday. But I knew her time to shine would be on cross because she's very, very a quick thinker. She's very, seizes in on facts of the question and was very responsive. I think the direct was careful, and I think the cross was right up her alley, and she dealt with it well.
What?
Is she afraid now?
Cross was up her
yeah,
what?
She has a lot of fear, and she really does. I mean, she was concerned about the security coming into New York. She wore a bulletproof vest every day.
Under her clothes.
Yes, until she got to the courthouse. I can tell you that before she came on Sunday, I mean, she cried herself to sleep. I mean, she was paralyzed with fear, not of taking the stand or telling her story, but what some nut might do to her. And I'm genuinely concerned about it as well.
She had her daughter's necklace on in the courtroom. Was that some kind
strength.
of a good luck charm for a mom?
Yeah, it was a feeling that she had her daughter with her, and it was really cute that she did that. The daughter made that necklace.
The defense moved for mistrial during...
Okay, so you see what they do here on CNN now. It's like a game of patty cake with this guy. They're talking about the daughter's necklace and her little arts and crafts routine. And so they got Coop in the middle. They bring all these people out. How much does this cost them an hour? I mean, good Lord, look at all these people. Trying to make it somewhat interesting. Is that Tubin? They even put him back up there? Oh, gosh.
Your client's testimony arguing, they tried to do it twice. What did you think of their argument?
Well, it really came into play with regard to the detail, some of the detail and establishing her credibility and why she did certain things. And she said, I was fearful. And she was told by a lawyer, you need to hide in plain sight. The story's got to be memorialized one way or the other. And if something happens, they'll know who is motivated to do it. So that was the motivation. And I think the defense didn't like that. But keep in mind, in the court of public opinion, Trump has constantly said, she's a sleazebag, she's a liar, I only met her one time. And so that lay down those facts he thought were important enough for the court of public opinion. Why wouldn't they be important enough for a jury in this case?
Yeah, I think that is Jeffrey Toobin, right? He's there. He's like, Cooper, can I please have the floor? I know everything there is to know about Stormy Daniels, okay? I've been studying her for decades now. So let me talk. Everybody's like, all right, you can talk, Jeffrey. All right, we're out of here. So that's what they're doing on CNN. Very strange little round table they've got. Now, these are their star witnesses. They love Michael Cohen. They love Stormy Daniels. Big fans of their testimony. They think they're heroes saving America. And Michael Avenatti, who was originally kind of on the Stormy Daniels train, he was posting this from prison. He says, look, unlike many, I have been consistent for 6 years. Michael Cohen is a liar and a total fraud and a narcissist who cares only about himself. And let us not forget about Women for Cohen and the 700 plus ridiculous posts he fabricated, says Avenatti, in an effort to paint himself as a brilliant attorney, a sex symbol, etc. I guess he claims that that was Trump's fault too. LOL. So incredible. I didn't even know this was a thing. And so don't all the ladies come over here at once. Here is what he says. Women who love and support Michael Cohen, strong, pitbull, sex symbol, no nonsense, business oriented, and ready to make a difference. Isn't he married? What does his wife think about this? Is she in favor of other women calling him a sex symbol? So listen to what this guy has done. This is Michael Cohen, who has been presumably posting all of these things as a female, I guess. He's talking about Gryphon mining. He says, actually, there are two here coinciding with this candle. So I guess Women for Cohen is a stock trader. Couple more here. Women for Cohen's, yeah, I guess trading, you know, talking about SEC enforcement. So that's a curious situation where he's out there, I guess, supporting himself as a woman. And it's very Michael Cohen. I guess if he's going to have a TikTok account and all these other accounts, why not, you know, endorse himself? So the White House got asked about some of this stuff. They said, hey, Karine, can you explain to us what's going on here? Now, this is a long clip. We'll just listen to the highlight of it because she meanders off into oblivion again. But here is the question. Can you comment on this? And this is her tacit admission that this is political. She can't comment on the trial because it's political. And then she goes and she tries to clean it up. And it's also an independent judicial review or something. Listen.
To show up at the trial of the former president today.
So look, I can't speak to, don't want to comment, obviously, as this is related to 2024 elections, and I can't speak to the speaker's schedule. That is something for him to decide on. And let's not forget, this is also connected to...
They're not there for the election to support Trump. They're there to stop an injustice. They're there to protest a rigged trial brought by Matthew Colangelo vis-a-vis Joe Biden.
To independent judicial process. So going to be really mindful. And he makes his choices on what he does, you know, with his business. That is his choice to be made. What I can speak to is obviously what the president is speaking to today as it relates to 301 tariffs, making sure that he's protecting American workers, protecting American businesses, making sure that when we're allowed to compete in a fair way, we can thrive. And that's what you heard from this president.
Okay, so then she goes off to talk about the Chinese tariffs and the brewing World War III. Doesn't want to talk about what they're doing in these courts. But Congressman Byron Donalds was there, showed up outside the courtroom to support Donald Trump yesterday. And he went on with the media and they were asking him about this in follow-up. They said, hey, you know, is this appropriate for you, Byron? Shouldn't you be back on Capitol Hill paying attention to, I guess, Ukraine or something?
Well, let me ask you, Congressman, do you think Trump should take the stand?
Quite frankly, that's something for his legal team. I'm not going to answer that because they're going to make that rationale with President Trump. It's not about him taking the stand. It's about looking at the evidence, or frankly, the evidence that does not exist that the prosecution has brought here in New York City. You got Matthew Colangelo, the number 3 guy, who was the number 3 guy at Maine Justice. He comes down to be on the prosecuting line for Alvin Bragg. That demonstrates the coordination between Maine Justice, the Democrat Party, the White House, and unfortunately the court system in New York just to get Donald Trump. That is un-American. We are better than that. This is not about people's personal feelings or political feelings. It's about the system of justice.
Well, let me ask you about the politics, because I think the jury will decide what happens in that courtroom as the recordings, the documents, and the testimony will all speak for itself. But you, along with J.D. Vance, Rick Scott, Tommy Tuberville, now House Speaker Mike Johnson, all of you have been to the trial now.
Looking good.
Why is sitting in a New York courtroom with Trump your priority versus hammering out business business up on the Hill.
Like what?
My priority, which is what I was elected to do, which I swore an oath to, was to protect the United States and the United States Constitution. So when you have a situation where justice is being misused for political purposes, in my view, you do have members of Congress and other members who are involved in our politics who have a responsibility to stand in opposition to that. I mean, take Judge Marchand, for example. His daughter is a Democrat operative. His daughter is going to make millions of dollars this election cycle fundraising for Democrats, and she's using the images and the likenesses of this trial to help her fundraise. That's a joke. That's a travesty. So this is bigger than just a job on Capitol Hill. It's what's happening right now in New York City. And I will add, I'm not under a gag order, so I'm going to tell the truth.
I understand that, but Congressman, let's be real here. The former president is using this courtroom, is using this case to raise money as well. He brought in a big $1 billion donor the other day.
He's being prosecuted as a criminal defendant. Don't call it even Stevens. It's not like they showed up to a dance and they're both having to cover their costs for travel or something. Trump has to defend himself with tens of millions of dollars in all these lawfare cases. And raising any money on the back of that has nothing to do with the judge. The judge is not supposed to be raising money at all. And the judge's daughter is not Donald Trump. Is she running for office? Is the judge running for office? This is crazy.
He's got commercials out there. He's putting things out on True Social. He is using this as a campaign fundraiser and rally cry every single day. He comes out to the cameras and he talks politics to reporters every single day when he comes out of the courtroom.
Because he is in court, in trial, locked down. These people are whack. He wouldn't be coming out of the courtroom to talk if he wasn't in court. It's the only time he can talk, lady.
So that's a little unfair when you're saying this is all political, when the former president is taking advantage of this entire situation to turn it into a campaign event.
Let's not use fair or unfair.
The entire prosecution is brought out of a political attack orchestrated by Joe Biden. Trump is responding to the attack, and she's saying that is unfair.
Because last time I checked, Donald Trump is the one that was indicted on ridiculous trumped-up charges. And yes, the pun is intended. That's number one. Number two, Judge Marchand put him under an unconstitutional gag order. Not just President Trump, his entire campaign team. You have the media, you have witnesses in this case who are out there talking day and night against Donald Trump. He cannot respond. His campaign team cannot respond. So we're going to respond for him.
But an appeals
it is
court
a tragedy.
upheld that.
So if anybody is
that
playing
gag order
politics,
today.
it is the radical left, it is Alvin Bragg, it is Judge Marchand, and it is the political coordination of using our justice system to attack a political rival.
Just the worst type of propagandist, the worst type of propagandist from her. And blaming Trump, it's blaming the victim. Wait a minute, the victim is fighting back, and she's shocked. How dare you fight back? You're fighting back, and you're trying to respond to being attacked? How dare you? You should just take it and not respond at all. So Byron Donalds out there representing. Shout out to Byron Donalds. We got Stormy freaked out. We got the media, I think, is a little bit freaked out. They know that this is backfiring on them. Trump is up in the polls. Michael Cohen's a liar. Stormy Daniels is a porn star and a degenerate. And now these are their two champions who are going to take out their fascist dictator, so-called. So we're going to be here continuing to cover this. Hopefully Stormy starts packing her bags. We'll see if she does. Thank you for subscribing, my friends, wherever it is you're watching this. Thanks for inviting someone you know to come over here and check out our channel. YouTube doesn't promote us because we're not an authoritative source, you know, like MSNBC is. So we're grateful for your shares. Thank you so much for doing that. We also would love to see you join us as a member wherever it is you're watching, on YouTube or on Locals. We have a great members only community. Our Rumble friends join us on Locals. We do streams in the morning. We do streams on Saturdays. We'd love to have you join us. Watchingthewatchers.locals.com. My friends, will see you over there and back here on the next one.